Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Fumble Sports Betting Show. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So excited to get into another episode of the show with you. We have so many picks to get to. Obviously, we have an NBA game tonight, as well as a lot of MLB games going on. I appreciate all of you joining us today for this Tuesday, May 23rd show. Really excited about what we're going to get into. Obviously, like always, we'll talk about our bets from yesterday. We'll make a lot of predictions about today. We will talk about our research and do that all for you. But I wanted to start first by talking about that game last night between the Lakers and the Nuggets. I had a few thoughts on it that I wanted to share with you. The first of which is we need to totally recognize that Nikola Jokic isn't just special. He is a once in a century kind of player. And I'm so glad LeBron James did a brilliant job last night in defeat at his press conference to acknowledge sometimes we talk about Nikola Jokic like he's the Michelin man, that he's big, he's bulky, he kind of lumbers around, and therefore he gets what he wants. But what we don't talk about enough is Nikola Jokic is incredibly intelligent. His brilliance, not just, by the way, he is an intelligent person off the floor, but you see that so often on the floor. How he manages the game, how he sees passing lanes. Nikola Jokic is obviously recognized for his physical ability, but we do not talk about his mental game nearly enough. Nikola Jokic was the smartest player on the floor during that series. We talk a lot about LeBron James and his basketball IQ. Obviously, it's well-deserved. But Nikola Jokic, a two-time MVP, now a Western Conference Finals MVP, is one of the smartest basketball players on the planet. And it took a series against LeBron James and the Lakers for us to truly recognize that his ability isn't even as great as maybe his mental capability. So I wanted to recognize that first. Second, big shout out to Denver Nuggets fans. You have finally reached the mountaintop, at least in terms of the Western Conference. For Denver Nugget fans, I know you have been through a lot of false starts, a lot of moments where you thought you were going to have a breakthrough, but the Western Conference for so often has had that cement ceiling over the Nuggets' head. It is so nice to see this team break through. The quality of players on this team, the quality of leadership. I'm a big Mike Malone fan. I think really highly of him. But how do you not like this team? Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown, KCP. This is a really, really likable team. And not only are they a likable team, they're playing some brilliant basketball. If you enjoy watching the game of basketball, this isn't a lot of one-on-one. Something I love Michael Jordan. He was my favorite player, obviously. But Michael Jordan really impacted the game by making it a lot of one-on-one. We went away kind of from the team game of the Celtics and the Lakers for a while. And Jordan, even though he was in the triangle, kind of ushered in an era of my best player against your best player. We go one-on-one. Forget these other 8 guys on the floor. What we saw from the Denver Nuggets last night is brilliant team basketball. We've seen it all 4 games. The Nuggets share the ball. They create open looks. It's not about one guy being a scorer. Sure, Jamal Murray can go off for a monster game. Jokic can go off for a triple-double. But they find their teammates. They find the open man. They really make a defense really move and work hard. I love what I saw from the Nuggets in this series. And for, again, Nugget fans, this is your moment. Soak it in. Enjoy it. You have conquered the Western Conference, and you deserve all of the praise and all of the flowers you're going to receive. Those are my thoughts on the Nuggets. I do want to give some thoughts on the Los Angeles Lakers. First of all, Laker fans, I don't know how you're disappointed. I know Laker fans set the standard of championship or bust, but that's unrealistic. That's like being a Duke basketball fan saying it's a national championship or bust, or being an Alabama fan saying it's a national championship or bust. I understand that history has given you that expectation, but that doesn't mean the present. Your past rolls of the dice have no bearing on your roll of the dice the next time you go to throw bones. So that said, Laker fans, did you think you were going to make the playoffs in October or November? No. You probably thought you were going to not only miss the playoffs, you thought there was a greater chance you would be in the lottery than you would be in the Western Conference Finals. So for LeBron James and the Lakers to make it to the Western Conference Finals is success. If I hear a Laker fan say that they're disappointed by the 2022-2023 Los Angeles Lakers, you're spoiled. You have no understanding of what it means to really see a team develop. I give enormous credit to the leadership. Rob Pelinka at one point in the year was being questioned whether he was going to keep his job with the Lakers. Now we're saying he may be one of the best executives of the season. How mid-season he turned this team from an absolute dog pile of poop into a Western Conference Finals team. I know they got swept, but they were competitive in every single game. It's not even like the Miami Celtics series where you say, man, there's been some blowouts. But that series was incredibly competitive. I was really impressed by what I saw from the Lakers. They have something there. They have some pieces. They need Anthony Davis to be consistent. If you tell me Anthony Davis is a top 75 all-time NBA player, I have a problem with that because he only shows up half the time. How could he be a top 75 player when he doesn't show up all the time? But LeBron James once again showed his brilliance. He was outstanding. I have no issue with LeBron James other than this. I have one issue with LeBron James. Don't talk to me about retirement. Don't bring it up now. Now, fair enough. Reporters at an elimination press conference, after a game's over and a team is eliminated from the playoffs, reporters turn into the dumbest individuals on the planet. They ask questions like, how bad did this hurt? How bad was this loss? How much did it hurt you? Or, what's your future? You just lost a game. Your season just ended like an hour ago. Tell me about your future. Reporters in a post-game press conference after an elimination game are some of the dumbest people on the planet. They ask terrible questions. However, LeBron, you have now told us for like a year, 2, 3 years, you want to play with Bronny. Don't now kind of tease retirement. I'm not ready to go through a summer of ESPN reporting of, is LeBron coming back or is he not coming back? LeBron watch. We have to know what LeBron's future is. Oh my God, we just did that with Tom Brady for like 3 years straight. My tolerance for that is so minimal at this point. LeBron, we know you're coming back. Whatever teasing you're due, whatever you're talking, you have said you want to play with Bronny. You have said that. You have said that. You have said that. If LeBron James was actually going to leave and retire, do you think he would just like slip it out in a post-game press conference after Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals? I hate that he was asked the question. I hate that he took the bait. And I hate that now the sports media community is swarming like flies on manure to the idea that LeBron James is going to retire. No, he's not going to retire. LeBron James is going to play in the 2023-2024 season. I'm saying it now. I'm guaranteeing it. It's going to happen. We are just getting jerked around by the collar thinking that LeBron James somehow isn't actually going to make it back for next year or he's going to retire. No, he's told us this. Let's not take Dave McMenamin's reporting as anything other than LeBron James shooting his mouth after a loss. I do not think LeBron James, one of the most calculated athletes, not just in this modern time, but of all time. LeBron James, the same guy who made the decision, the same guy who wrote an SI article saying he's going back to Cleveland, the man who orchestrated an entire move to LA, who builds teams, who's like the player general manager for every franchise he's on. He's just going to leave. He's just going to drop a note in a post-game press conference, and we're actually going to bite on it. We would be the most gullible fans, the most gullible consumers of sports content if we actually believe that LeBron James is retiring. Do not take the bait. LeBron James is coming back. LeBron James is going to be a Laker next year. They're going to go after Kyrie Irving. They're going to try and keep Austin Reeves. I think Hachimura is probably going to go because they can't keep him and Austin Reeves. But that said, if any of you are actually concerned that LeBron James is retiring, I have a bridge to nowhere to sell you. I just need the upfront capital. Just give me the money now. I'll build the bridge later. LeBron James isn't going anywhere. If you told me that after next year he retires, okay, I might believe that. But if you're telling me that LeBron James, one of the most calculated, thoughtful athletes of modern or historical times, is all of a sudden just going to walk away, just leave? No, I don't buy it. I'm not believing it. And ESPN, do not clickbait me about this. I'm concerned that LeBron James actually just gave fuel to a fire that ESPN wasn't even ready to light, and now ESPN is running to it like a bonfire to just throw conjecture over it. LeBron James isn't retiring. The Lakers will be better next year. They still won't win a title next year. They still won't win a title because the Lakers, even if they brought on Kyrie, I still wouldn't pick them. But LeBron James isn't going anywhere. The only thing of last night that really was of note for the future season, and IP Shades bringing it up in our chat, Kyrie was at the game, and Trae Young was at the game. 2 point guards who want out of their current position, who want to go to LA, who would love to play with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So, no, LeBron's not retiring, but Rob Pelinka and the Lakers are going to be so busy during this offseason. The Lakers will reconstruct their lineup. They will be back. They will be a playoff team. Are they going to be a title team? No, but they will be back as a playoff team, and LeBron James will be leading the way. Calling it now. Don't take the clickbait. That's how we open our show. Wanted to rant about that for just a minute. But don't worry, guys. We're going to do what we always do. Get into our conversations about today's betting opportunities. I know you guys are throwing your questions and comments in the chat. Can't wait to get into all of it. Had to get that off my chest, but we've got a lot of action to get into over the next hour and 50 minutes. So everybody settle in. Want to look at what we picked last night. Obviously, it wasn't our best night, in part because I thought the Lakers were going to win. So I did have a bit of a narrative betting trend here. You can see on our bad beats, or where our misses were, I had the Lakers on the money line, missed on that. Reeves on assists, he only had 3 actually. Kind of a sign of why the Lakers kind of stalled in the second half. I didn't think Reeves was actually active enough on the offensive side. Had a bad beat on his points. He only had 17 points. We took it at 17.5. That really hurt. Bruce Brown was not involved in the game. Again, one of the things that interested me about last night's game is the Nuggets won with Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon really stepping up. It wasn't a Bruce Brown game. It wasn't a Jamal Murray game. Jokic was brilliant, but really it was much more about Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. I thought Aaron Gordon had his best game of the series, offensively obviously, but his defense on LeBron James in the second half was fantastic. I don't think he got enough credit after the game, but Aaron Gordon really played well in Game 4. So these were our outcomes. We did okay overall, not as well as we want. We hit one of our long ball, long shots of the day. Hopefully we can get a few more of those today. Here's how we did yesterday. We did have a sub 500 record. We went 12, 13, and 1. Our one push, the total on last night's game was 224 points. What did we take it at? 224 points. That one hurt because I thought the Lakers were easily going to get over that. I thought we were going to have no problem with that. But for a number of reasons, we missed on it because the Lakers offense stalled in the second half. MLB games, we went 1 for 2. MLB props, we went even. NBA games, even. NHL, we called that under. We're going to continue to call that under. Every time you see the Florida Panthers playing, just assume the under is a strong play. So, like always, we throw yesterday's results in the graveyard. Doesn't matter. It's a new day, new picks to make. So we'll throw those picks down below, and then we will get to all of our picks today. Hope you guys are super excited about our show. If you guys have questions, we have answers. For all those watching on Instagram Live, throw your questions up on the screen and I'll get to them. Or if you want an even better viewing experience, go over to our YouTube channel, Fumble Sports on YouTube. You can watch our entire show there and see all of our research done right in front of you, as well as we put up the picks right up on the screen. So if you prefer a better viewing experience than Instagram Live, go over to our YouTube channel. For all those watching on YouTube, throw your comments throw your questions and comments down in the chat, and we will get to all of it. Top Dog, what up? Hope we are having a wonderful day. Appreciate you joining us on YouTube. We are getting a bit of news. My producer is sharing with me, Tyler Hero, who's out obviously with that broken hand, is unlikely to return for the NBA Finals if the Heat advance. So very interesting, Tyler Hero's status. Some people were commenting that he might be able to come back, that he was healing maybe ahead of time. Doesn't sound like he is actually, and that he will most likely miss the NBA Finals if the Heat are able to close things out either tonight or over the next 4 games against the Boston Celtics. Appreciate all those who are watching on TikTok. So, Deadpool, we are actually going to delay our NFL. One of our NFL analysts is not going to be available tonight, so we are actually postponing our NFL show until next week. So, forgive me, I'm sorry I teased that last week, but one of our analysts isn't going to be available. We are going to go through every NFL team schedule. I actually put in an Excel spreadsheet every game, whether it's prime time, whether it's overseas, and I am going through that with a model to predict every game of the NFL season next year, and we are going to give out win totals in a live show next Tuesday. So that will be a week from today. At 7 o'clock, we are going to go through the entire NFL schedule, every team, and we are going to give you every outcome of every game, and that way we can try and determine which win totals are worth betting on and which are worth avoiding. We'll also break down who's going to make the playoffs, and who's going to win each division. So for all of you who love betting on NFL futures, join us next Tuesday. Sorry about that, Deadpool. I know we teased that last week, and we had to cancel because one of our analysts isn't available. But next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we will do an NFL preview show where we will go through every team, every week, every game, giving an outcome, and that way you guys have a good understanding of which teams we think are going to go over their win total, under their win total, where they'll finish in each division. We'll also talk about some of the awards like MVP, Rookie of the Year, and other things like that. That'll be next Tuesday to answer Deadpool's question. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Alexander, Drew, ZZ, IP Shade. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces up there on the screen. If any of you have questions, we have answers. We are already up to 4,000 likes. It is unbelievable how fast you guys hit that like button and deliver for us. So excited to give out picks today. So before we get to your questions, we're just going to jump into picks. It is incredible the kind of support you guys show us. Again, for all those who are new to the show, every time we hit another 2,000 likes, we give out a pick. Every time we get help with our live goal, we give out a pick. Our live goal is the confetti. And just like IP Shade 45 did, every time we get a gift, we'll immediately answer your question. So IP Shade 45, I know that I know you were more giving that and less. I didn't see actually a question. I saw a lot of your comments on the Lakers. But IP Shade 45, if you do have a question, we will get to it. Oh, you're asking about Darvish. I will get to that right after we give out our early picks. So you're asking about Darvish over 5.5 strikeouts. We will get to that right after I give out my picks, IP Shade 45. But we actually have 3 picks to give out. 2 because we hit 4,000 likes, and 1 because IP Shade 45 hooked us up with that confetti. So enough about last night's basketball game. Let's get into the games tonight. Going to give out some picks. I won't give out a game pick just yet. We're going to break down that game in a little bit more detail in a little bit, but want to give out some player props for that game right away. The first one I'm going to give out, I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown. I'm going to make this a little larger since we haven't gotten a ton of picks up on the board yet, so I want to make sure you can see it. So our first pick of the day is around Jaylen Brown, and I hate to say it, but we're going to go over 2.5 turnovers. Over 2.5 turnovers for Jaylen Brown. We're getting that at minus 148. Whether you think the Celtics are going to win or lose tonight, this has been a really consistent play. Jaylen Brown has at least 3 turnovers in 5 of his last 6 games and in 8 of his last 9 games against the Heat. Let me make sure you guys hear that again. 5 of his last 6 games in the playoffs, he has at least 3 turnovers. But even larger, in 8 of his last 9 games against the Miami Heat, Jaylen Brown has at least 3 assists. So we do like Jaylen Brown over 2.5 assists tonight. It hit last game. We feel good about it. Just given how he's been playing, he has been a mess. So that's one. We're going to give out a second one now. Again, kind of pairs along with this. This is another one we've been giving out very consistently. Jimmy Butler over 1.5 steals. If you guys are loyal viewers, you know we've been riding this one, and it has been cashing for us very consistently. Butler has at least 2 steals in 5 of his last 6 playoff games and in 3 straight games against the Celtics. So every game of the series, this has hit so far. No reason for me to doubt it. I'm going with this one again. Jimmy Butler over 1.5 steals. I'm getting that at minus 169. We have one more pick to give out because IP Shade 45 hooked us up with some confetti. And the next pick we're going to give out, let's give out, I'm going to double down on the steals. I'm going to go with Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent over half a steal. Gabe Vincent over half a steal. I'm taking that at minus 185. Vincent has us at least 1 steal in 7 straight games in the playoffs and in 10 of his last 12 games against the Celtics. So again, whether it's Butler or Vincent or Brown, these trends have been consistent both in the playoffs and in the games between the Celtics and the Heat over the last year. So those are the 3 picks we're giving out right away. Make sure you guys hit that like button. When we hit 6,000 likes, we'll give out another pick. Or if you guys hook us up with our live goal of confetti, we'll give out one right away. I do want to answer IP Shade 45's question about Darvish. Darvish and his strikeouts. Then we'll get to Top Dog on YouTube and Garrett Cole's strikeout total. So first we're going Darvish. Then we're going to go with Cole over strikeouts. And that's how we're going to get into our research today. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. As always, one of the apps or tools that we use is this Outlier app. It's a great sports betting tool, ton of information all in one place. So that's what we're going to use to start our research looking at baseball today. We're looking first at Yu Darvish for IP Shade 45, and then we're going to get to Top Dog's question about Garrett Cole. Let's get to you. Yu Darvish is going up against the Washington Nationals today. The game is in Washington. Let's get to strikeouts. The total for over-under on strikeouts set at 5.5. That's what IP Shade 45 was asking about. We just look at the implied probability first. The under has the stronger implied probability, but just by a tick or two. So not necessarily enough for us to avoid it. Let's dive into it a little bit more. Interestingly enough, 4 straight games this has hit. 5 of the last 6. Good start, good start, good start when we're looking at our research. We like a trend like that. He's been consistently over 6. And again, he's facing the Washington Nationals. We look at the competition he's faced in these games. Royals, Twins, Dodgers, Giants, and the Brewers. You got some good lineups in there. So reason for me to believe it's not just that he was facing dog shit teams, that he's actually been pitching decently well. Let me go over to his stats over here on the right side. You can see the strikeouts per 9, just under 10. Pretty good. I also like the fact that ERA is at almost 3.5. I like that he's been pitching a little bit better than even I expected. I actually expected his ERA to be at almost closer to 4.5. Yu Darvish, I'm curious to know how his career is going to go over the coming year. Let's look at how he's done on the road. Little bit of reason for hesitation here. In his last 4, we really are going to eliminate this last one from last year's postseason. But in 3 of his 4 road games this year, he's been under the 5.5. Interesting that it's also been at 5. So he's not been far off on it. It's really more about the function of just missing it. Let's look at head-to-head. Only 1 game against the Nationals. That was last September. He had 9 strikeouts in that game. On the road, taking it a larger sample size, have been pretty strong on it, but that was last year. Don't want to look too much into that. Really quick, I'm going to jump over really quick. I want to look at, we're going to go to Fangraphs, and we're going to look at how the Nationals have done at home against right-handed pitching. When you, for those who watch the show consistently, when I do these strikeout props, every once in a while, I like to see how the team does against right-handed pitching, either home or away. Where are they in terms of overall strikeouts across baseball? Now, this again is against right-handed pitching at home. The Nationals are 22nd in baseball, so they make better contact than I would have expected. 22nd. Again, that sample size is good enough for me to believe they're a bit less of a strikeout team. The last thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to jump back over to Outlier. I just want to see how National hitters have done against Yu Darvish in their career. If there's anything that stands out. Vargas, 2 for 5. Candelario, 2 for 3. Thomas, 1 for 3. Nothing really stands out. I am actually going to go over to ESPN really quick and just complete the thought. I want to see if he's gotten a lot of strikeouts against these guys. So I'll go to Yu Darvish. I'll look at his stats. I'm looking for, when I go to ESPN.com, I'm going to this bat versus pitch. I want to see how the hitters in the lineup have done against him. So here's a great stat. 55 at-bats collectively by all of these hitters against him. These hitters obviously on the Nationals roster. 12 strikeouts, no walks. It's a tough call for me, IP Shade 45, but if I had to lean in a direction, I would lean towards the over for Yu Darvish. If I had to go in one direction, I'd lean slightly towards the over for Yu Darvish. Looking at the weather in that game really quick. The weather in that game, blowing in from right to left. Runs will be down, home runs will be down, singles might be a tick up, but IP Shade 45, I would lean towards the over 5.5 strikeouts for Yu Darvish. I know you guys got us up to 6,000 likes. I am going to answer Top Dog's question though first about Garrett Cole. So first we're gonna look at Garrett Cole, his strikeout totals, and then I will give out another pick. So don't worry, everybody. We will give out that pick for hitting 6,000 likes. But I want to look at Garrett Cole. Top Dog was asking about Garrett Cole strikeout totals. Garrett Cole for today, strikeout total set at 7.5. Let's look at it from the over perspective. First of all, the implied probability, the under has the stronger implied probability. So first of all, looking at your question, Top Dog, immediately we look at where's the stronger implied probability. In your question, you were taking it at 7, so maybe let's take it there. If I set this at an alternative line, and I set it at, let's say, 6.5, that's still not a strong play. 3 games in a row, he's been 6 or less. I'm actually really surprised by this. Garrett Cole, you think of it as a strikeout pitcher, but he's been under 6 strikeouts consistently. Only thing here, though, 2 of those games were against the same team, the Rays. I always feel like the offense has a better advantage when they face a pitcher a second time in a week or 10 days. So this 4 strikeout game, put an asterisk next to that one. And the Blue Jays. The Rays and the Blue Jays see Garrett Cole quite frequently, so I'm not surprised the strikeout total is a little bit lower. That said, he's facing the Baltimore Orioles today. Reason for me to be a little bit worried. Because again, same issue. The Orioles have seen him quite a bit. And actually, I did my research on this last night. There are a number of hitters in this Orioles lineup who actually hit Garrett Cole well. McCann, Hayes, Mullins, even Mateo, Frazier. Number of hitters in this lineup hit him well. So actually, Top Dog, I would avoid Garrett Cole today on the strikeout total. I do not like it going over 6.5. Maybe there's an alternative line you could take it at. But I actually would go, maybe I'd lean actually towards the under. I might actually look towards the under in this one. So it's not just that I would avoid the bet. I might actually go on the other side of this one. Really quickly, let's just see how he's done at home. You can see he has done better at home. But again, 2 of the last 4, and most notably, the 2 games he missed, both AL East teams. So teams that see him frequently throughout a year, they had fewer strikeouts. Not surprised that AL Central teams maybe were higher on strikeouts, and National League teams, they're not seeing Garrett Cole that frequently. So again, reason for me to not just say avoid it, but maybe look towards the other side. Let's look at under 7.5 is the only thing that's available. So maybe it isn't a strong play. If I could have gotten that to up to 8.5, I definitely would have taken it. But either avoid it or look towards the under, Top Dog. I think that's the better play. Appreciate all of those who are joining us. Make sure you put your questions and comments in the chat, and we will get to all of them. We have more picks to give out. Real quick, Alexander in the comments section is saying Cardinals and Phillies money line parlay. Alexander, love getting his picks every single show. Want to give out some of my MLB picks today. Since we just hit 6,000 likes, we will give out another pick. Again, every time we hit 2,000 likes, we give out a pick. And every time we get some confetti, we give out a pick. We are going to go with the Mets, Cubs, under 9 runs. Want to make sure I'm getting that at the right price. So I'm going to go to games. I'll go to MLB, Cubs, and Mets. I know it says under 8, but I wanted the alternative line. I liked it at the under 9. Under 9, minus 160. Under 9, minus 160. That's what we're taking it at. So once again, we're going with Mets, Cubs, under 9 runs. We're taking the alternative line there, taking it at minus 160. I don't think you can get 9.5. I can get 9.5 at minus 120. Not as crazy about it. Or minus 190 rather. That said, one of the reasons I like this game from an under perspective, look at the weather for this one. Wrigley Field doing what it does best, holding the ball in the ballpark. The likelihood of home runs down 24% in that Mets-Cubs game, and the likelihood of runs down 14%. Second best likelihood as in the under for the day. Additionally, the 2 pitchers going in this game, Cody Senga of the Mets and Drew Smyly of the Cubs. Smyly at home this year. Drew Smyly, the Cubs pitcher, at home this year. He's thrown 21 innings. He has a 2.14 ERA. He's only allowed 1 home run, and opponents have a 139 batting average against him. You may want to consider the Cubs on the money line for that one, but for me, I'd rather go with the under 9 runs for Mets and Cubs. That's the pick we just gave out because we just hit 6,000 likes. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Another question in from YouTube. Okay, a couple of you are asking about Rangers on the money line. Alexander brought up the Cardinals and the Phillies, getting a question on YouTube about the Rangers. Let's go check out the Rangers on the money line. So I missed on the Rangers yesterday. Dane Dunning actually pitched better than... he pitched fine. The bullpen really let it up for the Rangers. It was the bullpen that really let them down. So in doing my research before the show, I did have my eye on this game because the starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi, off to a really strong start as a member of the Texas Rangers. You can see 5-2 record, the 2.83 ERA. That's in 60 innings pitched. He was on a great streak in terms of runs given up or lack thereof. Strikeouts per 9, above 9 by just a tick. But that whip being just under 1. Love that. Love Nathan Eovaldi today. Jorge, how's it going? Actually, I don't want to leave that just yet. Looking at how, I want to see how Pirate hitters have done against him. Not a lot of success. The only player with success, Carlos Santana. 7 at-bats, no home runs, just the 1 RBI. So that said, I do like the Rangers in this one. I do like the Rangers in this game. Likelihood of a Rangers win, 65% over the last 65, or they've won 65% of their games over the last 20. Here's an interesting insight, though. Pirates are 4-1 against the Rangers over their last 5 games. Interesting note. That said, I still like the Rangers in this game, more from the starting pitching matchup. If we also go to, on the other side of the bump, it's going to be Rich Hill. Rich Hill, I just think Corey Seager could have a good game against him. I know the numbers aren't massive, but still some small sample size. But I still like this. Here's what I really like. Look at Rangers hitters against left-handed pitching this year. Ranger hitters against left-handed pitching. You have some good hitters in this lineup. Heim, Young, Duran, Seager, Grossman. There's some hitters in this lineup who actually hit lefties very well. So I would go with the Rangers on the money line. Rangers on the money line. ZZ, I would also consider taking the Rangers in the first 5. It's an interesting take. I like that idea as well. Rangers on the first 5 might be a nice play as well for this Rangers-Pirates game. Appreciate all of those joining us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We are now up to 8,000 likes. 8,000 likes. So we have another pick to give out. Appreciate all of those who have been joining the show so far. We are rocking through. It's amazing. We're already half hour into our show, an hour and a half to go. Let's make sure we give out as many picks as possible. Again, every time we hit 2,000 likes, we give out a pick. And every time we get confetti for our live goal, we give out a pick. ZZ, very interesting play. We'll talk about that one a little bit later. I am going to give out another pick right now. Actually, I'll give out that one as well. I like the Red Sox as well. I like the Red Sox on the money line. I'm taking them at -115. Red Sox on the money line. Griffin Canning is the starting pitcher for the Angels. Canning has a 2-2 record this year. He's given up 5 home runs. Opponents have a .284 batting average against him. Meanwhile, the Red Sox have Brian Bayo. Brian Bayo is on the bump for the Red Sox. Bayo, who is a young prospect, a lot of people have actually compared him to Pedro Martinez. Not myself. You can see the mechanics are the same. The talent's not quite there. But Bayo, in the month of May, 16 innings pitched, a .281 ERA. Opponents have just a .242 average against him. And maybe most importantly, in the month of May, Brian Bayo has gone 3-0. So he's pitched really well. The Red Sox have helped him out. A couple other trends to give you some confidence as to why I like the Red Sox on the money line. The Red Sox are, the Red Sox are 7-1 in their second game of a series this year. The Red Sox are 7-1 in their last 8 games. That's the second game of a series. So they play really well in the second game of a series. Meanwhile, looking at it from the other side, the Angels are 0-5 in game 2 of a series. So the last 5 series the Angels have played, they've lost the second game of that series all 5 times. The Angels won last night. I like the Red Sox on the money line tonight. It's the pick we're giving out because we hit 8,000 likes, or we're about to. So, ZZ, don't worry. We'll get to our favorite long ball, long shots of the day. We'll get there in just a minute. IP Shade 45. While you're on the Red Sox, Yoshida over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. IP Shade 45. I freaking love where your head's at. Masataka Yoshida has been one of the most consistent plays of the year so far this year, but I don't know if I would go where your head is. You're going towards hits, runs, and RBIs. I don't know if I would go in that direction. Where I like to go with Masataka Yoshida so often isn't on 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's on total bases, because Masataka Yoshida, he gets on a lot. Whether he gets in, whether he drives runs in, that's another story. So if I want to go to Yoshida, Masataka Yoshida, and I care more. We'll look at hits, runs, and RBIs, but even there you can see, oh, interesting, the hits, runs, and RBIs, the implied probability is at 57%. So really interesting. Answering IP Shade 45's question about Masataka Yoshida, the over does have the stronger implied probability. It's hit 4 out of the last 6 games on the road. There you see the overall sample size over 20 games. For me, I still like bases more. I would look towards bases. If I go to total bases, first of all, 3 games in a row, 4 out of the last 6. On the road, I like bases more. So, to answer IP Shade 45's question, and we are going to throw this one up on the big board. Interesting, this is getting plus money. Interesting. By the way, Yoshida this year against right-handed pitching, .313 batting average, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. Very interesting. I'm a bit conflicted. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit conflicted here, IP Shade 45, because you may be right. 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs is a good play. So I'm going to endorse both of these. Hits, runs, and RBIs, I'm going to say go with. But me personally, I'm going to take bases. It's interesting, though, because the implied probability is more in your favor with hits, runs, and RBIs. Okay, I'm going to swap out. The implied probability spooked me a little bit. I'm going to go with IP Shade 45. You talked me into it, IP Shade 45. We are going to go with the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We're going to go with that. We're going to throw that up on the board. It's at -130. -130. So, throwing up another pick up on the board. This is an in-show research pick. So for all of those who are new to the show, we always put an asterisk next to those. That way you guys can distinguish which picks I had researched prior to the show and which ones we found organically while doing our research during the show. So we're going Masataka Yoshida over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. We're taking that at -130. Like the play. Nice job, IP Shade 45, turning us on to a good play for the day. One more time, that's the next pick we just gave out. For all those who are watching on Instagram, make sure that if you want to see our picks up on the screen, go over to our YouTube channel. OT, so sorry about that. Yeah, we did really well on a number of other things, but we missed on Brandon Lau yesterday. If any of you watching on Instagram want to go see our show and the picks that we're putting up and the research that we're doing, go over to our YouTube channel. You can see everything up on the screen right there in front of you, up there on YouTube. Appreciate all those who are watching on Instagram. Tyler, great to see you. ZZ, you hooked us up. By the way, ZZ, I actually like that parlay as well. If I like the Red Sox to win, and I like Yoshida 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, those two play into the same narrative. I do like it on a parlay, especially because it's a 2-leg parlay right there. By the way, Irving, by the way, this goes for all of you, but Irving, because you brought it up. If any of you guys have picks, throw them in the comment section. Throw them in the chat. I know everyone who's watching loves sports betting, loves fantasy sports, loves talking sports, so never hesitate. If you have a question, feel free to throw it out here. But if you just want to share your picks, go for it. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not just a talking head. We do our research, try to give out information, If there are some others that you like following, if there are other individuals, members of the Butt Fumble Sports community that you guys like to tail, make sure you throw your comments or your picks in the chat. More than happy for everyone to be able to see those. We did get some help. Okay, ZZ, I am both going to give out a pick because you gave us some confetti, and then I'm going to go answer your question. So, you're asking about Corey Seager to get a hit today. Over half a hit for Corey Seager. We will get to that in just 1 second. Caesar, I'll get to your question as well. But because ZZ gave us the gift of some confetti, we will give out another pick. So, again, every time we get confetti, we give out a pick. I'm going to go to... Okay. I'm going to pull this up on the screen so you guys can see it. I'm going to go to Christian Vasquez. Christian Vasquez. And I want to see what his total bases is set at. Boom. Okay, first of all, the implied probability on total bases for Christian Vasquez, over half a base, 66%. 66%. You're getting it at minus 190. I'm going to break down why I like this play so much in just 1 second. But it's Christian Vasquez over half a base at minus 190. Here's the reason I like this. Not only is the implied probability at an insanely high mark, which really tells me it's a great play, but Christian Vasquez is facing Alex Cobb today. Alex Cobb, the starting pitcher for the Giants. Christian Vasquez, in his career against Alex Cobb, 19 at-bats, 12 hits. Christian Vasquez against Alex Cobb has a .632 batting average. That is freaking crazy. That includes a double, 2 RBIs, a walk, and only 1 strikeout. So in 19 at-bats against Alex Cobb, Christian Vasquez has 12 hits to only 1 strikeout. Love that ratio, love the consistency, love the sample size. Christian Vasquez, to me, for those who are curious about like my confidence level, Christian Vasquez over half a base, my confidence level on that is at like 80%, 85%. I love the track record of that play. So Christian Vasquez over half a base, we gave that out because ZZ hooked us up with some confetti. Every time we get confetti, we give out a pick. ZZ also then asked about Corey Seager over half a base. So let's go to that. Corey Seager. So it's not half a base, unfortunately. We can look and see if there's alternative odds, but we will go towards the over. Interesting that the under has the stronger implied probability. Rich Hill on the bump for the Pirates. Just keep note of that. We will look at the over, though. In his career against Rich Hill, 8 at-bats. This is since 2018, by the way, so it's not his entire career up here on Outlier. This is just since 2018. Seager, 8 at-bats, 3 RBIs, 375 average. Interesting. No hits yesterday for Seager. Disappointed us there. But prior to that, had been a strong play since his return from the IL. So again, larger sample size doesn't really apply as much. You're really looking from May 17th on. 3 out of the last 5 games, this is hit. Now, if I look towards an alternative line, I can't get it at a better spot. I can't get it at half a base. I'm on the fence on this one, if I'm being honest. I'm on the fence on this one because I like the matchup. The 1.5 has me a little concerned. I would have loved it at half, even if it had been at longer odds. But that said, he was hot before yesterday, right? I'm going to take yesterday as an outlier. I liked him yesterday and it didn't hit. I'm going to go back on it. I'm not going to put it up on our big board. But ZZ, I would take the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Again, I know it's the lesser implied probability, but I'm willing to take the risk on it. He didn't hit on it yesterday. I think he bounces back today. So I'm going to go with the over. I'm not going to put it up on our board, ZZ. Duel has it at to get 1 hit. Corey Seager on 1 hit. So again, I want to see if there's a good implied probability. Oh, that's hits plus. I just want the hits. Yeah, 1.5 hits. Alternative line, if I take it over half a hit, it's at minus 269. Not a good play if you're looking for odds. Not a good play if you're looking for odds. Just you have to give too much to make too little. Irving Marquez is giving out some of his picks. Over on Arizona and the Dodgers, he's at like 90% over on the Arizona and the Dodgers. Looking at that game, where's the weather in that game? So the Arizona-Phillies game, not expected to be a high-scoring game. Dodgers-Braves, not expected to be a high-scoring game. So Irving going against the weather trends a little bit. Here are the picks we put up on our board so far. If you guys want me to give out more picks, keep hitting that like button. I believe our next goal for the like button is 10,000 likes. And if we get more confetti, we'll give out more picks. Caesar on YouTube is asking, does he bring in Verdugo? How about Verdugo 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs? Let's go back to that Red Sox game really quick. Caesar is asking about that. Let's go to Verdugo. We're going to look at Alex Verdugo. And Caesar was asking about total bases or a run. So total bases or a run for Alex Verdugo. How do we feel about it? Let's look at those total bases. Implied probability, the under is the stronger. Let's look at the over, though. Has not been a strong play in the last 4 games. Last 4 games, he slumped a little bit. See if there's something we can take from this. On the road, struggling. His last 20. Yeah, on the road, Alex Verdugo has not been hitting the ball that well. So immediately I would avoid Alex Verdugo total bases. Not a play I'm interested in. Against Griffin Canning, he's 0 for 5 lifetime. Again, lifetime against Griffin Canning. Since 2018, Verdugo 0 for 5. I'd avoid it. So that said, I'd avoid that play. Caesar, I'd avoid Alex Verdugo. Not a play I like. IP Shade 45 just hooked us up with some fire. IP Shade 45. Fire for Drew's question, Duncan Robinson. So just jotting it down so I make sure I get it right. Duncan Robinson. Over. Drew, can you just let me know what what total you're getting points, rebounds, and assists? Points, rebounds, and assists. What's the number? If Drew, you could throw up just what the number is. I want to make sure as I'm doing the research, I'm going off of what total you think. You said 9.5. Double check that. Let's double check that. Let's make sure we got that right. So we'll jump over to the NBA. We're going to look at Duncan Robinson. And we're looking at points, rebounds, and assists. I'd be surprised if it's 9.5, just given how he's been playing over the last 2 days. That would seem low to me. It is 9.5. Interesting. Really interesting. That feels low. The implied probability is slightly better for the under. Really surprised by that. Let's look at it from the over. I care more about the over. See, this is what catches my eye. He's hit it in the last 2 games. Over 9.5. How has he done at home? All right, not great. Let's go larger sample size. Not great again. Now I understand why it's only set at 9.5. He's had 2 good back-to-back games. But if I take out last game, it hasn't been as consistent a play at home. Interesting. Too bad. Now, here's an interesting one. Head-to-head against the Celtics at home, it's been a more consistent play. So, interestingly enough, when Duncan Robinson plays the Celtics in Miami, this has been a stronger play. I'm going to say take the over. This has me leaning in that direction. I know that October game stands out like a sore thumb, but that's what, the first game of the year, second game of the year. So for that reason, I'm going to lean slightly towards the over on this one to answer Drew's question, which we're answering because IP Shade 45 threw that fire in the chat. Here's where I would go with it. I'd lean slightly towards the over, 9.5 points, rebounds, and assists. The reason I actually have confidence on this one, Duncan Robinson has been shooting the 3 ball well over the last couple games, and maybe more importantly, he's been doing a better job on passing. I like what he's doing as a distributor. So that said, I'm going to lean towards the over. I'll lean towards the over. Okay, Jesus just helped us out. Oh, his 3-pointers are set at 1.5. Before I get to helping Jesus, thank you for the hat and mustache. Jesus, let us know what question you want us to answer. Jesus, throw your question in the chat. Want to make sure I answer your question. Thanks for the hats and the mustaches. That said, while we wait for Jesus's question, Drew's asking about 1.5 3-pointers for Duncan Robinson. Let's look at that really quick. 3-pointers made. Last 5 games, this has been good, consistent play. Last 5 games, it's hit 4 times. I love seeing a shooter who gets hot. That's great. Outside of the last 5 games, not as strong a trend, but I feel like he's been involved in the rotation more in this series. I like this more. So the answer is yes. I would take over 1.5 3-pointers for Duncan Robinson. In fact, I'm willing to put that one up on the board. I know it's a bit of a risk, but I'm willing to throw that one up on the board as well. I'm going to take the over at -130. So we'll go over to our big board, and we are going to throw this up on it. We're going to take, it's an in-show play, so we'll asterisk it. Duncan Robinson over 1.5 3-pointers made. We're taking that at -130. Like the play, it's been a consistent play against the Celtics in Miami when they've played there, so I do like that play. Hey Zeus, let us know what question you'd like us to answer to pay off all of these great gifts you've been giving. Question in from YouTube, Caesar, asking about Red Sox on the run line +1.5. I like the Red Sox on the money line today. If I like the Red Sox on the money line, I'm absolutely going to endorse taking them on the run line. So Red Sox +1.5 is what Caesar's saying he can get. I like it. I absolutely would take it. We hit 10,000 likes because you guys are freaking awesome. You guys are unbelievable. I believe we just hit 10,000 likes. So I want to give out another pick because we hit 10,000 likes, or we're about to. So we'll give out another pick. Hey Zeus, I appreciate all those hats and mustaches. If you have a question, throw them in the chat. I haven't seen your question yet. Oh, just got it. I'll answer that question, but we're going to give out one pick first, and that will be our first long ball, long shot of the day. So, like I've said, we've been doing okay on these. Over our last 5 shows, we've hit on at least one of them in 4 of our 5 shows. We only hit on one yesterday, so I will admit I'd like to get back to a 2-show-a-day play. So let's see what we can do. Okay, here we go. I'm giving this out because we're going to hit 10,000 likes. I know we're probably a little bit short right now, but this is for 10,000 likes, so hit that like button, and this is paying that off. So here is the pick we're giving out. I am going to go with Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt to hit a home run. Want to make sure I'm getting it at the best odds, so I'm going to jump over really quick and just see what his home run number is right now. But Paul Goldschmidt is our pick to go long today to hit a home run. Let's go gold. And we're going to look at home runs. So plus 310. Plus 310. Paul Goldschmidt plus 310. Here's our reason for this. Our reasoning behind this. Goldschmidt is facing Graham Ashcraft. Graham Ashcraft is the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds today. First of all, Ashcraft has been ashy of late, so we like to play against him. In his career, Goldschmidt has only faced him 3 times. He has 2 at-bats. He has 3 at-bats, 2 hits. One of the hits was a home run. One of the reasons I like the home run today, looking at the weather in our ballparkpal.com, which game has the best likelihood of a home run today? Cardinals-Reds. Cardinals-Reds, the likelihood of a home run is up 19% today based on the weather. For that reason, Paul Goldschmidt, he already has 1 home run in his career against Ashcraft. I know it's a limited sample size, only 3 at-bats, only 2 hits, 1 home run, but I like it. It's a game in which I could see home runs being hit. We've talked a lot about Nolan Arenado. If you want to take Nolan Arenado today to hit a home run, I would not hate on that as well. Goldschmidt and Arenado are two guys you should consider today to go yard. I'm going with Goldie. We've talked about Nolan Arenado so often, I just wanted to go in another direction. So I am going with, really quick, I am going with Paul Goldschmidt plus 310 to hit a home run. I will double down on that. And I will take Paul Goldschmidt over. I'm just really quick going to jump over to, and again, this is paying off us hitting 10,000 likes. So for those who are new to the show, I've talked about this over the last week. If I like someone to hit a home run, I like to double down on them with a second bet. Either 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, or 1.5 total bases. But I don't like it at 2.5. So 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, I would have taken, but 2.5, not so much. Total bases, yeah, the 1.5 is where I like it. So I'm going to take 1.5 total bases for Paul Goldschmidt, and I'm going to get that at minus 105. I know the implied probability makes it not as strong a play as the under, but I like him to hit a home run today. Because I like that, I'm going to double down on it and take him at over 1.5 total bases, and I'm getting that at minus 105 at BetMGM. That's a really strong play for me. Minus 105 on total bases. So those are the picks we just gave out because we hit 10,000 likes. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Dante, you're asking about Jose Altuve. We'll get to that in a little bit. Caesar, will also get to your question about the White Sox. You were asking about the White Sox, not the Red Sox. But before we get to those two questions on YouTube, I am going to answer the question that we got from Jesus on TikTok because he hooked us up with that gift of a mustache and a hat. Every time we get a gift on YouTube, we always answer your question. So Jesus, do you like do I like Rays Blue Jays money line tonight? Who do I like? Okay. So we liked Tampa Bay yesterday on the money line, and that ended up hitting. Let's look at that game today. Rays are the favorite. Looking at Jose Berrios as the starting pitcher for the Blue Jays today. Interestingly enough, not a great stat sheet for his year so far, but actually much better against the Rays. So he had one start against the Rays, 5 innings, pitched really well actually. But that was his first time seeing the Rays this year. Let's see how Rays hitters have done lifetime against Berrios. Or at least since 2018. Margot has hit him well. Arozarena's hit him well. Kind of surprised Wander Franco has struggled as much as he has against him. So kind of interesting. Half the lineup has hit him well. Half the lineup has struggled against him. Just kind of interesting to note. Now, obviously, taking the Rays at home, really strong play this year. You look over, too, taking the Rays against the Blue Jays in Tampa Bay has been a really strong play, too, because they're in the same division. Not as many times this year with the new scheduling. But just interesting to note, the Rays are the stronger play according to the insight. How have the Rays done against right-handed pitching this year? Okay, but not actually as well as you would think. There are a couple of hitters who have hit right-handed pitching really well. I think you would have expected some more 300 batting average actually in the Rays lineup. A little bit surprised by that. Looking at the Blue Jays, how have they done against right-handed pitchers? Again, not as many 300 hitters as you would have expected. These are two good lineups, but not as many 300 averages as I would have expected, especially without the shift. If I had to go in any direction in this game, I would take the Rays just slightly. If I had to go in one direction, I would take Rays on the money line. I know Berrios had that good start last game against the Rays, but I like a team that faces a pitcher for a second time. I'll always bet on the offense in game 2. I'll take the pitcher in the first meeting. I'll take the offense in the second meeting. So I'm going to lean towards Tampa Bay on this one, Jesus. I would lean towards Tampa Bay on the money line in that one. Not going to put it up on our board, but definitely the direction I would lean towards. Okay, Caesar, on YouTube, you are asking about White Sox. White Sox plus 1.5. White Sox plus 1.5. Let's check it out. White Sox on the run line. Has not been as strong a play of late as you would think. That's how it's done on the run line of late. And that's against the Indians. Or, forgive me, that's against the Guardians. So, has not been a strong play. has not been a strong play. For that reason, I would not take it. I know Dylan Cease is on the mound, but look at his numbers against Cleveland this year. Not a great outing. And again, I always like the offense the second time they face a pitcher. So, based off of that, I'm not as crazy about this. Dylan Cease, I feel like that's a bit of a trap. He's a brand name, but you look on the other side. Logan Allen, he's actually had good numbers this year. He pitched well against the White Sox. Part of me would say, don't touch this one. Don't touch it. I don't think I would take them. I would avoid this play. I understand why you're considering taking White Sox on the run line. Doesn't work for me, though. I would avoid this one, Caesar. I wouldn't touch White Sox plus 1.5. I wouldn't touch it. I'd avoid it. Appreciate all of those who are joining us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Once we hit 12,000 likes, we will give out another pick. Jesus, thank you for the hat and mustache. Jesus, if you have another question, make sure you throw it in the chat. Every time we get a gift, we answer your question right away. Of course, if we get confetti, we give out a pick. And of course, every time we hit another 2,000 likes, we hit a pick. Believe it or not, we are already 1 hour into our show. It is amazing how fast this show goes every day now. I feel like we are just cruising through 1 hour and it flies by. Appreciate all the questions, all the comments. Appreciate those who are following. Make sure you hit that follow button, whether you're watching on Instagram Live, TikTok Live, or on YouTube. Make sure you follow and subscribe to Butt Fumble Sports. We are live every single day. Again, we give out picks. We talk sports with you guys. We try to help with research. These aren't my picks. The picks we give out are based on trends. We try to give you guys the best information possible, make you guys as smart as possible, inform you guys so you can make well-informed decisions on which games you want to bet. We're not trying to push you in one direction. We're trying to empower you so you guys cash as many tickets as possible. Appreciate all of you guys being with us. And going to jump back over. Let's talk a little bit about this NBA game tonight. I know a lot of you guys are interested about this NBA game. Let's look into it just a little bit. Let's look at this Celtics Heat game. Interesting, the first game of the series in which the Miami Heat are the favorite. They're only the favorite by 1.5 points. Now, I got to be careful now because 2 days ago, I gave out a lot of information around the referee. I talked to you about Tony Brothers, and I said, man, I really like the Celtics. I really like the Celtics on the money line because Tony Brothers, when he's reffed the Celtics games, they've won. When he's reffed the Heat, they've lost. I really like that the Celtics have that in their favor. You watch that game, and whether there were a lot of fouls called or not, I felt like the Celtics were complaining the whole time. I almost felt like the Celtics turned Tony Brothers against them because after a while, a referee's going to go, I've had enough of this. I'm just going to call fouls, and I don't give a shit. And so Tony Brothers was supposed to be a strong Celtics play. I will say that kind of, the fact that the Heat came back and won now has me a little hesitant whether this is a strong way of researching or not. But it has been over the course of the regular season. It has been for a majority of the playoffs. So for that reason, I do want to research the referee tonight. Funny enough, do you guys know who the referee is? It's Scott Foster. Now, Scott Foster is notorious for being what a lot of people call a series extender. A lot of people joke that Scott Foster is a referee, that when a team is down in a series, amazingly, the underdog or the team that's trailing in the series somehow wins when Scott Foster is the referee, as if the NBA is inserting the one referee who can ensure that we get to a Game 5. I'm not saying that's the case. But there are a lot of people out there on social media who make that claim. Not me, but a lot of people make that claim. Funny enough, Scott Foster is on the whistle tonight. I looked up before the show. Has anyone done the research? We did. This is for the Miami Heat. This is the Miami Heat. We went to Basketball Reference. For all those who are new to this, I go to basketballreference.com. I look up the Miami Heat this season. I go to their page for referees. I can look up how every referee has done or how the Heat have done, no matter the referee. I go to Scott Foster. Scott Foster. What do we see up on the screen? The Miami Heat are 0-5 this year when Scott Foster's the referee. I can't make it up. It's fact. Scott Foster has kept the Heat from winning 5 games this year. I'm not saying that we need to take this as the gospel. I'm not saying this is a sure thing. We missed on Tony Brothers in Game 3. There might have been a lot of reasons for that. Was it Tony Brothers' fault, or did the Celtics just lay an egg? I would actually like to believe it's the Celtics more than it was Tony Brothers. So for that reason, I did look up previously. The Celtics are 2-1 this year. Only 3 games they've had Scott Foster. The Celtics are 2-1. Small sample size. Couldn't get a lot from it. The point differential for the Celtics was negligible. So I kind of from another side, the Celtics with Scott Foster isn't a notable trend. However, Scott Foster with the Heat 0-5. Just ask Chris Paul. Scott Foster, when he wants to screw you, consider yourself Phillips head screwed. I mean, I'm going to go with Scott Foster tonight. I wasn't going to before I saw this stat. But I am going to tonight. I know a lot of you guys ask about it, so I will put it up on the board. I'm going to take a risk. I know the Miami Heat have been the better team, but I'm going to go with the Scott Foster conspiracy theory statistic tonight. It may not work out, and I'll have to eat the loss, but I'm going to put it up on the board. I'm going to take the Celtics on the money line. Celtics on the money line, plus 102. And because the spread for this game is 1.5, I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to go both ends of it. I fully expect to the Celtics could let me down again, but I'm going off my Scott Foster stat. So for all of those watching, Scott Foster, when he's refereed the Miami Heat this year, the Heat are 0-5. For that reason, I'm going with the Celtics on the spread as well. Celtics plus 1.5. I'm taking that at minus 109. So either we're going to nail it tonight, we're going to be 2 for 2, or we're going to be swinging and missing on this one. So that said, I am going to take Celtics on the money line and the Celtics to cover. Tyler, you were at the Red Sox game last night. Hope you had a great time at that Angels-Red Sox game. That game flew by. That was one of the shortest games that I've seen. I mean, I know the pitch clock's working well, but I went to turn on that game late because I obviously was following a couple of the players we had picked, and I was just amazed how quickly that game went. Hey, Zeus, helping us out with that hat and mustache. No, I was amazed. Tyler, that game flew by. No offense in that game. The Red Sox offense was just anemic. No scoring. It was a 2-1 game. They gave up a late home run. That was the difference. Entertaining game, I guess. But yeah, Tyler, no, Devers didn't get a strikeout, so you missed on that one. Devers also didn't provide the offense that we expected. So a low-scoring game in that one. Not surprised, though, when we went to our ballparkpal.com yesterday, we saw that overall runs were going to be down. Same thing can be said today. We know the wind is blowing out to that left center area or just left of center. But that said, that's a deeper part of the park at Angel Stadium. So a deeper part of the park, no wonder it's a bit harder to score runs. YA Tittle 24, you are throwing your money down the toilet. Celtic heart was ripped out. Better play the Celtics in the first quarter. By the way, this is why I love you guys throwing your comments in the chat. Great call by YA Tittle 24. If you think the Celtics have any chance tonight, you're probably liking them in the first quarter. The Celtics have to get off to probably a good start. So YA Tittle, interesting that you're saying that. And by the way, again, this goes to show you, this Celtics pick tonight is a perfect example of how Butt Fumble Sports tries to approach this show and sports betting in general. We do not go off of our gut. I am not going off of my gut saying the Celtics' heart was ripped out of their chest. The series is over. We go off of trends. We try to look at data. We try to look at analytics. What is the trend that we just looked up? Scott Foster against the Miami Heat means you should take the other team. That was the trend we looked at. That's why we're going in this direction. If the Celtics fail on us, so be it. But I'm going to go with the strong trend. The Miami Heat are 0-5 this year with Scott Foster on the whistle. I'm going to play with that trend. I actually feel better about that trend. The Celtics aren't a trend right now. The last game, I can't take that as a trend. That was an outlier. Do I really expect Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to literally quit like that? I can't anticipate that to be the norm. I'd rather go off of the norm of the referee. Okay. Where are we at with the like button? Do we owe a pick? I know I just gave out 2, but we might give out another pick in just a second. But before we do, Dante on YouTube is asking about Jose Altuve. Let's go check out Jose Altuve. He's asking about a home run. Will Jose Altuve go yard today is the question we're getting from Dante. Let's go check that one out. We'll go to our player prop bets. If you guys have a question, we're here to answer it. Throw your question in the chat. Hey Zeus, appreciate all of your support today. Hey Zeus, we'll get to your question after Dante's. Your question is Brian Bayo on total strikeouts. If you could, hey Zeus, if you could just give me the strikeout total and whether you want me to look at it from the over or the under. Alexander, I understand Boston losing has been the trend the last 3 games. I understand that as well. I know that as well. No, I know I'm bucking the trends. Interestingly enough, I like the Heat before I saw that trend. I might be falling into a trap. I'm saying that now, by the way. I'm letting you guys know. I might be falling into the Scott Foster trap tonight. So maybe you guys don't want to tail me on the Celtics money line tonight or Celtics to cover. I totally understand if you guys are taking the Heat. But for me, I saw that trend. I'm going to go with it. We go off of trends. I'll go with it. Okay, we're looking at Jose Altuve on home runs. Jose Altuve, looking at home runs. So the implied probability at 13%, it's a tick lower than we would like, but usually home runs are going to be a lower probability. Looking at the pitcher he's facing today, he's never had an at-bat against him. Doesn't have an at-bat against him. Altuve, he's just back off the IL. There isn't a lot of data about him. Personally, Dante, I wouldn't take Altuve because I don't have enough data. I just don't. There isn't enough there. There isn't enough there for me to believe that I can really fall in love with this play. So I understand if you've got maybe a gut instinct about it, but there isn't enough data for me to really like Jose Altuve to hit a home run. I need to see him get out on the field a little bit more for me to be able to get some confidence in that. By the way, ZZ, maybe take Celtics alternative line since you don't think it's going to be a blowout. That's actually a good idea. So if you don't like the Celtics on that 1.5, let's jump back over to it. What's an alternative line we could take it at? Celtics. How about this? We're going to change our Celtics play. We won't change it to 6.5. Let's change it to Celtics plus 4.5. Or Celtics plus 5.5. That's what we're going to change it to. So I will take it on the money line. I will be that fool. But I'll take Celtics on the spread. 5.5. I'll make this a safer play. For all those who were hating on me a moment ago, you're probably right. This is going to make me feel a little bit better. Celtics money line, Celtics 5.5. Either I'm cashing on both, or maybe I split the difference. But you're right, maybe that 1.5 isn't worth it to me. By the way, LRK425 called Jared Kelenic yesterday, and we actually rode that as one of our in-game show bets. Not on the long ball, but hits, runs, and RBIs. LRK425, you called it. Shout out to you. Jared Kelenic, 455-foot home run. So everybody, again, there are a lot of people in the show who give out some great information. Make sure you're watching on YouTube or TikTok. That way you can see all the picks that these viewers are giving out. A lot of fun. Okay. We wanted to go to Jesus' question about Brian Bayo. For those watching on YouTube, by the way, make sure you hit the like button. You only need to hit it once, but hit that like button. Let us know that you like the content we're putting out. Let others know about Butt Fumble Sports. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button just once. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you're hitting that like button as many times as you can. We actually have more picks to give out in just a second because we've actually hit 14,000 likes. So we will give out another pick in 1 second. But I want to answer this question around strikeouts. Brian Bayo strikeouts. Answering Jesus' question because, Jesus, you've been awesome today hooking us up with those gifts. So I want to make sure that I hook you up with an answer to your question. We're looking at Brian Bayo on strikeouts. So the under has the stronger implied probability at 57%. Under has the stronger implied probability. Interesting. He's really turned on the strikeouts in his last 4 starts. You're looking at 5.5. That's a bit tricky for me because it's been right on the edge. Can I get this at an alternative line? Over 4.5, you're getting at minus 196. That's what I would take. To answer the question, Jesus, if you don't care about odds, I would like the over 4.5 at minus. What did we say we took that at? Minus 4.5 at over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 196. Jesus, if you're willing to ride that, I wouldn't hate on it. I think it's a good play at minus 196 because of how consistent it's been. 5 out of the last 6 games, over 4.5 is hit. But the moment I shift that to 5.5, I lose my trend. So what I would say is, Jesus, to answer your question, I would take it at the 4.5. I wouldn't take it at the 5.5. 4.5, I like it. In fact, I'll throw that up on the board as well. In-show research play. Again, it's an alternative line. Brian Bayo, over 4.5 strikeouts. We're taking it at what? Was it minus 195? Minus 196. And again, that might be strong for a nice parlay play. If you're looking to add some legs to your parlay, Jesus, that's where I take it. I want to make sure you guys know what I'm looking at. Over 4.5 strikeouts. Okay. We have a bunch of picks to give out. One, because IP Shade 45 hooked us up with our live goal of confetti. So that's one. And we've hit 14,000 likes. 14,000 likes. So we actually owe 3 picks. So everybody who's watching, make sure you're paying attention. We're about to give out 3 picks. 3 picks. And then, by the way, we are going to give out, we're going to answer more of your questions. By the way, LRK425, you're taking Miami at plus 8.5 and Mariners on the money line. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. You're betting against the A's and you're taking the Heat to cover 8.5. Love the play. Okay, we're going to give out 3 picks now to pay off IP Shade 45 as well as hitting that like button. Let's go to assists. Let's go to that basketball game again. We're going to double down on Jimmy Butler. And I'm going to go Jimmy Butler over. And we are going to take it at 5.5 assists. We're getting that at minus 145. The reason we're giving out this pick, Jimmy Butler over 5.5 assists. We like that play because Butler has hit that in 3 straight games against the Celtics and in 5 of his last 6 games. We've just seen how the Celtics have defended him, which is poorly. We've also seen how the Heat offense is operated. Jimmy Butler is the dominant ball handler at this point, especially late in the game. He's driving, and he's either scoring or he's distributing. Love the opportunity to get him on assists. So once again, the next pick we gave out was Jimmy Butler over 5.5 assists. We're going to give out 2 more picks. We have 2 more picks to give out. Going to stick with that NBA game, and we will go with... I'll put this up so it kind of stays by the Celtics here. I'm going to go with Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart over, believe it or not, I'm taking Marcus Smart over 3.5 rebounds. Marcus Smart over 3.5 rebounds. I'm getting it at minus 125. My reasoning behind this play, Smart has at least 4 rebounds in 5 of his last game. Marcus Smart has gone over 3.5 rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games and in 5 straight road games. Marcus Smart has at least 4 rebounds in 5 straight road games and in 4 of his last 5 games overall. So I like Marcus Smart over 3.5 rebounds. Again, I'm getting that at minus 125. We have one more pick to give out. One more pick to give out to pay off all of the love you guys are showing us. And I'm going to make it a long ball, long shot of the day. And we are going to go to Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo. I want to make sure I'm getting the odds right on this, so I'm just going to jump in really quick and see where we can take him on home runs. Joey Gallo, home runs. We are getting it at plus 500 on FanDuel. Plus 500 on FanDuel. Which is amazing. given that the other sports books. By the way, why do we do our comparison shopping? Plus 500 compared to plus 390. That's money in your pocket if it happens. So that said, we're going to take Joey Gallo to hit a home run today. He's our second long ball, long shot of the day play. Again, those I would put a half unit down on it. So for our picks of the day, put a unit down. For our long ball, long shots of the day, you may want to put a half unit down. By the way, we just hit 16,000 likes. So we are going to give out another pick. And actually, this relates to Tyler and Jorge. Both of you guys are talking about Bam Adebayo. And interestingly enough, I have my eye on Bam Adebayo as well, in kind of the direction you guys are thinking. Bam did not have a great game last game. We're going to think he bounces back. I'm going to go Bam Adebayo over, and I'm taking it at 27.5 points plus rebounds. In fact, I might take an alternative line on that. So before you guys jump in on that, wait 1 second, because I might take an alternative line on that. There may be an opportunity here. Let's go to Bam. Let's go to points and rebounds. 27.5. You see about the same implied probability. Alternative lines, I'm not getting it. Unfortunately, this is one of the reasons I took the pick at the place I did. The alternative lines just aren't there. I don't want it at 28.5. So I'm going to say the over 27.5 points and rebounds. I threw that up on our big board. Another one of our favorite picks of the day. We just gave that out because we hit 16,000 likes. Appreciate all of you guys joining us, hitting that like button. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, just hit the like button once. Like our video. Goes a long way in helping us let others know about Butt Fumble Sports. But if you're watching on TikTok or on Instagram Live, make sure you hit that like button as many times as you can. Helps us out, lets others know about our show. We have 14.5 on Prize Picks as a discount play for the next 30 minutes. Jorge, you're saying you're giving 14.5 points for the next 30 minutes? I would take it. Tyler, Jorge, if that's what's available, I would jump on it right now. Drew, I'm in the same thinking. If you're getting that opportunity now, jump on it while you can. Appreciate all of those who are joining us. If you have questions, we have answers. Dante on YouTube is asking another question. He's asking about the Colorado game over 11.5 runs. So, first of all, let's go to ballparkpal.com. The weather in that game suggests runs should be plentiful. So the over, based on the weather, is the stronger play in that Marlins-Rockies game. So Marlins-Rockies, the over is the stronger play, at least in terms of the weather. Let's look at the actual game. Let's find it. And Marlins, okay, so 11.5 over 11.5. Man, that's really high. That's really high. And in fact, we don't like it at 11.5. Look at the Marlins. They haven't hit that. They've hit it once over their last 10 games. Once over their last 10 games have they gone over 11.5 runs. So a number of reasons for us to be a little hesitant here. First of all, Yuri Perez of the Marlins, the youngster, he's a rookie. He is a stud. He is a stud. You can just see in his stats so far this year, really impressive, gets a lot of strikeouts. Curious to know. By the way, for those watching on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like button. Only once, but make sure you hit the like button on YouTube. Looking at it on, again, a larger sample size, the Marlins just don't hit over 11.5 runs. They've hit over 11.5 runs twice over their last 20 games. Twice over their last 20 games have they gone over this. Over 20 games, only hit it twice. Head-to-head, the over hasn't been as strong a play over the last few games they played against each other. I know we got a question about Yuri Perez on strikeouts as well. I wouldn't take the over at 11.5. I would look towards an alternative line. If I were to take an alternative line, over at 10 at minus 165, over 9.5 at minus 190, those would be the plays for me. So the alternative lines here that I like, over 9.5 at minus 190, over 10.5 at minus 145. Those are better plays for me, but I don't like it at the 11.5 Just feels a little high given the history of the Marlins. I do want to answer that question about Perez on strikeouts, so we're going to jump into that quick. I'll get back to answering your question, IP Shade 45, in just 1 second. Just give me 1 second, and I'll get right back to you. Looking at strikeouts, looking at Perez. Yuri Perez. So over 4.5 doesn't have the stronger implied probability. Interesting. He has hit the over twice in his career. Let's jump over to Fangraphs really quick. Against right-handed pitching at home, how have the Rockies done on strikeouts? The Rockies are the 20th in strikeouts against right-handed pitching at home. It's a tough one for me. I want to say take Perez over 4.5 strikeouts, but I don't have enough confidence on it. So the question on YouTube, I'm going to avoid it. I'm just not going to touch it. I would fade it. Just don't have enough confidence. Yes, the fact that it's in Mile High, it does give me some concern. Appreciate all of those who are joining us. We're going to answer IP Shade 45's question next, and then we're going to give out another pick because we have hit 18,000 likes. 18,000 likes. So we are going to answer IP Shade 45's question first, and then we will give out another pick. So make sure you're not going anywhere. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you comment. Make sure you hit the like button, but only once on YouTube. Drop your comments here. We're answering your questions every day. We're live for 2 hours. And again, if you're watching on TikTok, you know what the drill is. That confetti goes a long way. Appreciate it. Okay, IP Shade 45. Do you like Matt Olson over 1.5 bases against Bobby Miller coming up from AAA? So we're gonna look at that play. Obviously, there's not going to be any data for Matt Olson against the pitcher, but let's look at Matt Olson overall. Let's see if we can get something out of that. You were asked about over 1.5 bases. 1.5 total bases. Here we go. So the over doesn't have the stronger implied probability. Interesting there. So one thing to note where the implied probability is. We look at the over. In 5 of his last 7 games, this is hit. In 5 of his last 7 games, this is hit. Interesting. At home, 3 out of the last 4. I like the play. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Olsen at home has been a strong play. IP Shade 45, I like the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI, over the 1.5 bases. I like it. He's hit over on it consistently enough for me to like it. I know it's a rookie on the bump. Hey, even if I'm waiting until it gets to the bullpen, IP Shade 45, I like the Matt Olson. I'm not going to worry about the implied probability. I'll take the over 1.5 bases. I'm not going to throw it up on the board, but I do like the play. Tyler, you are asking about Josh Bell over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Let's look at that one. Josh Bell. Looking at hits, runs, and RBIs. The over, under, same implied probability. The trend hasn't been there in the same way. Over the last 4 games. How about at home? Hasn't been there as well. Not really a strong play. It's not really there for me. Not seeing it. Not getting excited about the Josh Bell play. Let's look at total bases. Nope, not either. I wouldn't touch Josh Bell today against Dylan Cease. Does he have good numbers in his career against Cease, or is that why you're asking? Oh, that's why. Now I understand why you like it. Okay. The reason that Tyler likes this play is because Josh Bell in his career, 7 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 double, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So this is a tricky one for me because, yes, he's 3 for 7 lifetime against Dylan Cease, but he actually doesn't have an RBI. He just has an extra base hit. So for that reason, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't take the under. I would just avoid the play. Because I would have taken the under if he didn't have a good history against Cease, but he is 3 for 7 lifetime. The problem, he doesn't have an RBI. He only has 1 extra base hit. There's not enough data here for me to really jump on it. I understand why you had it kind of identified in the first place, Tyler. Good on you. Good spotting it. But it's not a play I really like. My confidence level for this is a 50-50. It's a coin toss. When I'm in that position, I can't really put it out as one thing that I like or dislike. Sorry about that. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Going to answer another question. Top Dog, you're asking about Bonner. Bonner. Do you wanna? Yeah, I'm sorry, but we don't do the WNBA right now. I don't have a good source of data about the WNBA. So first of all, Top Dog, I appreciate you supporting the ladies out there. I appreciate you looking for betting opportunities on the WNBA. But unfortunately, I really don't have a good source of data to look up WNBA trends or information. If you guys know of one, by the way, let me know. I'm more than happy to give out WNBA picks throughout the summer because, again, once the NBA goes away, we're going to get a lot of MLB, a lot of NFL futures plays, so you guys may want to jump into another sport. More than happy to study up on the WNBA every day, but I need a source of information. Again, I don't go off of my gut or go off of brand names, so without the data behind it, I don't like to give out the picks. So for that reason, if you want the WNBA, let me know if there's a good website to find that data. Okay, Alexander once again is going to go on the reverse side of us. He's gonna fade us. Alexander is gonna go with the Angels and the under 9.5. I don't hate the 9.5. I actually may like that. But that said, I like the Red Sox today. They've got the better pitcher on the mound. I like the opportunity for the Red Sox. By the way, Alexander, I gave out a couple trends earlier in the show. In game two of a series so far this year, the Red Sox the Angels have lost the game two of a series in 5 straight series. So a number of reasons why I do like the Red Sox today on the money line. In about the hockey game tonight. Let's look at the hockey game really quick, and then I'll get back to answering your questions on TikTok. By the way, do I owe you guys a pick for 18,000 likes? Someone confirm that. I didn't give out a pick for that, right? I owe you guys a pick, right? Quickly, let's look at the Dallas Stars. Golden Knights have been on fire of late. Golden Knights have just been crushing it. Okay, the Stars have been a strong play at home after a loss. That's the one insight that I'm gaining from this matchup. Stars, strong play at home after a loss. Trying to find anything that really stands out on this one. Injuries, no. Matchup. I would take the Stars, but I don't really have great information on it, so even as I say it. I mean, there's good data here. The head-to-head, the Stars have actually played pretty well head-to-head. If you take out the first 2 games, the Stars have won the previous 4 games against the Knights. So I like the bounce back. You also look at home. The Knights have won their last 2 games against the Knights at home, or the Stars won the last 2 games. I'm going to take the Stars on the money line. Stars on the money line. I'll actually throw that up on the board. I will throw it up on the board. So we will go... It's right underneath baseball. We will go in-show betting. We will take Stars on the money line. I believe we're getting that minus 125. Minus 125. Stars on the money line. It's minus 145. Poopy. Now, that said, all these games, look at this trend. Here's the trend I care about. Head-to-head, look at this. LRK 425, I wouldn't take Stars plus 1.5. Or I would take them at plus 1.5. I would also, if you can get the Knights at plus 1.5. I expect the Knights at plus 1.5. That's what I want. I'm not going to take, I'm going to double down on this game. I'm going to be on both sides of it. I'm going to take the Stars on the money line, but I'm going to take the Knights. I'm going to take the Golden Knights plus 1.5 on the puck line. I'm getting that like minus 200. I know it's a poopy play. Might want to parlay it. Might be a leg of a parlay. But they have consistently been a one goal difference. So I like this. The difference in these have pretty much been a 1-goal difference. So I do like the idea of taking Golden Knights plus 1.5 on the puck line. Yeah, LRK425, I got you. We just gave out 2 picks, but we're not going to include those. We've hit now 20,000 likes. We've hit 20,000 likes, so we are going to give out another 2 picks. We're going to give out 2 more picks for tonight, so make sure you're standing with us. We are going to give out another long ball, long shot of the day right now. So our next long ball, long shot of the day, our prediction of someone who's going to hit a home run. Let's go with Yuli Gurriel. Yuli Gurriel. Again, I love the offensive opportunity in that Rockies game. As I showed you earlier using ballparkpal.com, the likelihood of home runs way up in that Marlins Rockies game. So I like Yuli Gurriel. He also has a good history against the pitcher that he's facing today. By the way, what's our record on likes for the show? Well, during the football season, I think we hit something crazy. I think we hit something like 40,000 likes during the football season. So that's probably our goal or our high mark. During the shows we've done over the last 2 weeks, I do think like 20,000, 22,000 is our high mark. So I think we're going to pass it today. Nice job, everybody. So anyways, giving out this pick, want to make sure I'm giving out the best possible odds for it. Going over to baseball, looking at home runs for Yuli Gurriel. Yuli Gurriel to hit a home run today. Let's take home runs over. Plus 700. Plus 700. Love it. It's a bit of a long shot play, but that's why we do long ball, long shots of the day. So, giving out another pick. Sorry, here it is on the board. Our 3 home run, long ball, long shots of the day so far. Goldschmidt, Gallo, Yuli Gurriel. 3 players we have so far. And I'm actually going to give you my 4th one. That way you have them all loaded up. The last one I'm going to go with, Evan Longoria. Evan Longoria. Again, probably a bit of a long shot on this one, but Evan Longoria has good numbers against the pitcher he'll be facing today. The ballparkpal.com doesn't give me great. Where are the Diamondbacks here? Yeah, the weather isn't great for home runs, but with the wind blowing out to left, I like it a little bit better for left-handed hit or for right-handed hitters rather. Part of the reason I like Longoria. Let's look at Longoria's odds on the home run. Longoria. Oh, he's not even up here on the board. He's not even up here on the board. We might have to take this one down and give you a different one. If he doesn't show up, we're not going to give it out. I like him to hit a home run. Maybe Outlier's not offering it, or maybe no sports books are offering it. So let's just see. I'm just reloading. Let's see if we get it. Evan Longoria. Are we getting home runs? Yeah, okay, great. Once we reload it. Okay. So interestingly enough, we actually have a decent, 15 isn't a bad implied probability for someone like Longoria. The plus 550, that's what we're taking it at. Plus 550. Plus 550, love it. So for all of those who are just joining the show, here are all of our picks so far for the show. We just gave out 2 more because we've hit 20,000 likes. Unbelievable the support you guys are showing us. Keep hitting that like button on TikTok. If you watch on YouTube, just hit the like button once, like our video. Really appreciate it for those who do that. Of course, comment, and make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing. For those on TikTok, hit the like button as many times as you can. Every time we get a gift of confetti, we give out a pick. Every time we get 2,000 likes on TikTok, we give out a pick. Here are our picks so far today. Jorge, you're asking about Aaron Judge. By the way, Dante and Top Dog, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys watching and supporting each other on the platform. Dante, Top Dog, helping each other. The Butt Fumble Sports is an unbelievable community. What I love so much about the community we're building is it's not just you guys listening to me. It's you guys coming together with your own ideas, your own suggestions, trying to help each other out. I love that we are a team here at Butt Fumble Sports. We're a team. We are team cashing tickets. We want everyone to make money. We want everyone to benefit from information. This is a team. I love the teamwork. I love the support you guys show us. And not only that, but show each other. So Top Dog and Dante, want to give a big shout out to the 2 of you guys watching on YouTube. Love seeing that support for one another. That said, Jorge, you're asking about Aaron Judge over 9.5 fantasy points. Let's jump over and let's look at Aaron Judge today. Aaron Judge, not looking at home runs. Though, by the way, the implied probability on an Aaron Judge home run is 28%. 28%. Wow. You know what? I mean, let's take a step back and look at that alone on its own. He only has one home run at home over his last few. But he has been on a hot streak. He has been on a bit of a tear. If you took Aaron Judge on a home run today, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. That's a very interesting play. The problem is you're not getting it at great odds. Plus 260 is the best you could get it at. So it's not up there anymore. Sorry about that, Dante. That's not up there. I don't know Fliff. If anyone knows Fliff, I don't know Fliff. Anyways, we were looking at Aaron Judge on his potential fantasy points today. Let's go look at what his total base is. Implied probability is stronger on the under. Let's look at hits, runs, and RBIs. So the over has a really strong implied probability here. If the over hit, you'd cash on that fantasy point play. Man, this has been a really strong trend. We're going to add this. We're going to add this to our board right now. This has been a strong play. 7 out of his last 10 games. Really, 8 out of his last 9. 7 out of his last 9, rather. 7 out of his last 9 games, this is hit. I'm going to jump on it. We're going to throw this one up on the board. Again, another in-show play. We are going to go with Aaron Judge over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. We're taking the Yankees captain at, let's see what the odds are, minus 130. At minus 130 is where we're taking it. Aaron Judge over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 130. I like it. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you're hitting that follow button. What site is this? That we're using? It's called Outlier. It's a great sports betting tool that not only has all this data available for you, but it's a great comparison shopping tool. Jorge, appreciate you shouting it out. For all of those who want a free 7-day subscription, a free 7-day trial for Outlier, hit us up in our DMs, either on TikTok, Instagram, or on Twitter. DM us, and I will send you a free 7-day trial for Outlier. That way you guys can check it out on your own. Tyler, you're exactly right. I meant to look that up. So we're going to look at Suarez, and you were looking at, got to go back through the chat a little bit. You're looking at Suarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Okay, going to look that up now. Appreciate you guys bearing with us. I love that you guys throw in as many questions as you do. So always forgive me when I'm jumping around from question to question. You guys know I love doing this stuff, so trying to get to as many as I can. Suarez, I like that the implied probability isn't too far off between the over and the under. Obviously, I know you like the over in part because they're playing the Oakland A's. Okay, if I look at Medina, looking at the starting pitcher of the A's today, what do we call this, guys? We call it dog poop. We call it dog poop. A 688 average over 17 innings. Yeah, that's dog poop. That's what we're looking for right there. So that's a good place to start. Looking at how Suarez has done against right-handed pitching, not as well as you'd like. I think you're probably happy as the 24 RBIs, but that said, not as crazy about that average. The 234 average has me a little bit concerned. By the way, David on YouTube, we'll get to your question in just 1 second. IP Shade 45 coming through on a confetti, so we will give out a pick right after this as well. Interesting, this has been a strong play over the last, 7 games. Suarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs has been a strong play over the last 7 games. If I look at it at home, over the last 20, not as strong a play. I hate to say it, but I'm going to say avoid the play, Tyler. There's just not enough of a... If it was a left-handed pitcher for Oakland, I would feel better about it. But for me, I think I would avoid it. Not a strong enough play for me. IP Shade 45, I'm going to answer your question first, and then I'll give out a pick. So you're asking a question, I'll answer your question first, and then I'll give out a pick. IP Shade 45 up here on TikTok. When you get a chance on over/under Braves Dodgers or on the money line, let's look at that Dodgers Braves game. Dodgers Braves. Here's the one thing I'm going to make note of. I don't like betting on rookie pitchers. I really don't like betting on rookie pitchers in their MLB debut. I don't know what I'm going to get. It makes me really hesitant. Is he going to have a long leash? How many pitches is he going to go? There's a lot of reasons for me to not like it. So IP Shade 45, I will say from the start, I am a bit hesitant about going in that direction, just to let you know. But we will dive into the game because you asked. Let's look at the over-under. It's coming off at even money. The over has been a strong play for the Dodgers over their last 6 games. 5 out of the last 6, the over has hit. Interestingly enough, I look at the Braves. Over's pretty strong as well. Over the last 2, 4, 6, 8 games. They're 6 for 8 on the over. So the over immediately has my attention. Again, I don't know what I'm getting from the pitcher for the Dodgers, but obviously Spencer Strider is on the mound for the Braves. He's been fantastic this year. 4-1 record, 2.96 ERA, dude's a stud. But how have the Dodgers hit against him? There are a couple Dodger hitters who have decent numbers, but a small sample size on all of it. For a number of reasons, I don't like this game, man. IP Shade 45, you really went after the one game I'm not crazy about. Against right-handed pitchers, JD Martinez, who had 2 home runs yesterday, is raking. Freddie Freeman, who had a home run yesterday, is raking. Will Smith is hitting well against right-handed pitching. So there are a number of hitters in this Dodger lineup who hit right-handed pitching well. Man, I really don't like this play. I really don't like it. I just want to avoid it altogether. I'm sorry, IP Shade 45. You know I don't like being a chicken, but on this one, I am chick frickin' filet. I don't want to touch this game at all. Yeah, Crazy Joe, it's just not a game I like. I understand why you have your eye on it. If I look at the trend for the two teams over the last 8 games, the over is the stronger play, but I have a stud pitcher and ace on the mound for the Braves. I have a rookie who's supposed to be the top pitching prospect on the mound for the Dodgers. I don't know what I'm going to get. For that reason, I don't want to put my money or your money in jeopardy, so I would say don't touch that game. Just avoid it. Okay, IP Shade 45 did hook us up with a gift, so we're going to give out another pick, and then we're going to go to David's question on YouTube, so don't worry, David. I will get to your question in just 1 minute, but I'm going to give out a pick first. We're going to give out a pick to say thank you to IP Shade 45, so let's give out another pick. Let's go with... I just want to double check the prop before I get into it. I was looking at Shohei Ohtani. He only has 2 at-bats against Bayo, but he is 2 for 2. Here we go. Implied probability on hits, runs, and RBIs, 61% against Bayo. Let's look at it for bases, total bases. The under. Let's go with hits, runs, and RBIs for Ohtani. That's what we're going to take. It has a really strong implied probability at 61%, minus 155. So we are going to throw this one up on the board. We are going to take Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. Again, we're taking it at minus 150, I believe, just to double check it. Minus 155. Thank you so much, IP Shade 45, for the confetti. That's why we just gave out that pick. If any of you guys want more picks, keep hitting that like button. Once we hit 22,000 likes, we will give out another pick. Or if anyone gives us the gift of confetti, we will give out another pick. Okay, that said, David, I know you've been waiting patiently on YouTube. David's question. What are your thoughts on 28 points for Jimmy Butler? This is a parlay play. So we're going to go through each leg. 28 points for Butler. 7.5 points for Rob Williams. And 4.5 assists for Tatum. Love where your head's at. So you're going under 28 points for Butler. Over 7.5 points for Rob Williams. And over 4.5 assists for Tatum. We're going to break this one down. We're going to go leg by leg. So for all of those who are watching, make sure you guys are paying attention. So this is kind of a 3-in-1. We're going to answer the parlay question for David on YouTube, but each one is its own kind of bet. So you guys may be interested in it. Make sure you guys are paying attention. We're about to have a lot of fun with this one. First one we're going to look at is Jimmy frickin' Butler. And we're looking at him at points, and we're actually looking at the under on this one. The under 28 points. So the implied probability on the over is stronger here at 27.5. That already has me worried. 27.5, the fact that the implied probability is higher, has me a little bit concerned. You wonder if the implied probability is there because it's a closeout game. You look at in closeout games, Butler had 42 in the closeout game against the Bucks. He had 24 in the closeout game against the Knicks. He's only hit over the 28 points once over the last 6 games. Hasn't been a strong trend. At home, the last 3 games at home are under 28 points. Head-to-head against the Celtics, at home, 3 out of the last 4. I want to see if there's an alternative line here. Here's what I would say. David, I like where your head's at, but it's a little risky for me. David, if you're willing to play the parlay, or if you're able to take alternative lines on the parlay, 30.5 is really strong for me. Not the over. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. The under 29.5 points at -160, I like more. So the under 28, I'm a little nervous about if you're willing to extend the odds a little bit more against you, just to get a little bit more safety and insurance policy on it. I would take the under 29.5 points at -160. So Jimmy Butler, under 29. I don't think Jimmy Butler is going to get 30 points. That's what I'm really betting on. I'd like to take the under on that. That's the first leg of the parlay that we're looking at for David on YouTube. Let's go to the next leg of the parlay, which is Robert Williams. Robert Williams over 7.5 points. So the over has the lesser implied probability, but it has been a really strong play over the last 5 games. So Robert Williams has come on of late. You see there, 3 straight games of at least 8 points. Like that trend, especially because it actually extends to the Philly series. They've started to use him more. He's been on the floor more. He's obviously engaged on offensive rebounds, putbacks. And he's actually been shooting decently from the free throw line as well. If I look at him on the road, back-to-back games on the road, this is hit. These other 2 games, you got to think he wasn't starting. Now, he may not be starting tonight. It may be Derek White. Haven't gotten the lineup yet from the Celtics. But that said, the Philadelphia series, especially early in it, that's a bit of an outlier. That's not necessarily actually a great source of data. The back end, the final 3 games of the series against the 76ers, that's the one that's actually a better source of information. Again, I like the over on this. I like the over 7.5 points. I would play that one. I'm not going to put it up on the board. But yes, David, I do like the over 7.5 points for Robert Williams. So that's the first 2 legs of this parlay for David on YouTube. The final leg of the parlay is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, and we're looking at assists. You were asking about over 4.5 assists. So the over has the stronger implied probability, and it's pretty substantial here at 59%. By the way, in case you guys are curious about what our previous prop bets were, up here on the board, we haven't taken a Jason Tatum play yet. So let's see if this is a good one. Now, we did feel good about this trend in the Philly series, but in the Miami series, wow. In games 1 and 3, he's just vanished. And that's kind of been the problem with the series. Jason Tatum has vanished, whether it's in scoring or facilitating. He hasn't been a consistent play. That definitely gives me some trepidation. If I look at the larger sample size, I like it, but the inconsistency is there. I will say I do think he's going to have a bounce-back game. So just like I thought Game 2 was going to be a bounce-back game off of Game 1, I do expect Game 4 to be a bounce-back game. So if you took it, I wouldn't hate it. Let's look at away. Again, 3 out of the last 4. 7 out of the last 9. Head-to-head against the Heat. This is on the road. Let's look at against the Heat overall. Not as strong a play, actually. This is what's going to make me not take this. So against the Heat overall, whether it's home or away, it's only hit 2 out of the last 7 games. Yeah, he's played against the Heat. So I wouldn't touch it. I would actually avoid that. Jason Tatum assists. I wouldn't touch it. Maybe it's Spoelstra's defense. Maybe it's Jimmy Butler. However it is, I don't like it. This trend tells me that Jason Tatum over 4.5 assists isn't hitting enough against the Miami Heat. So for that reason, I would avoid it, wouldn't touch it. I think that blows up your parlay, David. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. We have 5 more minutes of our show. 5 more minutes of our show. Make sure you're hitting that follow button. Make sure you guys are following Butt Fumble Sports. That way you know every time that we go live. We have another pick to give out just now, so we will go to that. Okay. I'm going to look it up really quick to make sure I'm getting the right odds on it. We're looking at baseball here. We are looking at Eduardo Escobar. Looking at Escobar. Eduardo Escobar. Oh, is he not showing up? He's not showing up right now, so this may not be available to us. It's too bad. Eduardo Escobar has outstanding stats against Drew Smyly. I'll just say that. If you can find Eduardo Escobar somewhere, Eduardo Escobar against Drew Smyly, he has 14 at-bats lifetime, 8 hits, 4 home runs. Eduardo Escobar, in 14 at-bats, 8 hits, 4 of the 8 hits have been home runs. 5 extra base hits out of those 8 hits. So if we could find Eduardo Escobar, I'd take it. But unfortunately, not seeing him up on the board. Not seeing him up on the board. Too bad. Okay, that means I got to give out a different pick. Let's go to Mullins. Cedric Mullins. And I'm going to take total bases. Want to make sure I'm getting it right. The over we're getting at -160. Brilliant. Okay, the next pick we're going to give out is Cedric Mullins over half a base. Love it. I know he's facing Garrett Cole, but he actually has good numbers against Cole. I'm getting it at -160. In his career against Garrett Cole, Cedric Mullins has 22 at-bats, 7 hits, .318 batting average. He does have 4 strikeouts, but I love the idea that he has a .318 batting average against Garrett Cole. Large sample size. That is another pick that we're giving out. I know, Tyler, we're going against him, but I like it. I like the fact that the Orioles have seen him quite a bit. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Cedric Mullins over half a base. Over half a base. And I got to make sure I put the base in there. So answering M. Baldwin 918's question, we did not like the over. No, we did not like the over on Garrett Cole today. We didn't like it. Tyler, you were asking about Higashioka. Let's get to that. You were asking about over on bases for Higashioka. Again, Higashioka is the personal catcher for Garrett Cole, so that actually is a good thing that we already know that. Looking at total bases, the implied probability has the slight over here. So a good way of thinking already, Tyler, to find that. Let's see what it's at. Okay. Let's look at... This is what it's showing over his last 10 games. Not bad. He's hit 4 out of his last 6 games. But let's look at it at home. Decently strong play here. I'm not going to put it up on the board, but Tyler, I would take the over. I would take the over on Higashioka over half a base. Over half a base on Higashioka. I won't put it up on the board as one of my picks of the day, but I do lean towards it. The trend here, 4 out of the last 6 games overall, 4 out of the last 6 home games for the Yankees. Yeah, I'll go with it. I'll lean slightly towards the over, half a base for Higashioka. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you're following on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. Make sure you follow Butt Fumble Sports. That way you know when we're live every single day. You never want to miss a show. We are live every day. We are live for 2 hours every single day. That is our commitment to you. We give out our picks, we give you our research, and believe it or not, we have just gone through 2 hours of show. Unbelievable, 2 hours of show. I can't believe how quickly it goes every single day. Here are all of our picks. I'll actually make this a little bit smaller on the font so you guys can see it all in one place. Now, yesterday, we did a subscriber exclusive show right after. If any of you guys subscribe right now on TikTok, we will do that again. If any of you guys subscribe on TikTok, I will stay on for an extra half hour only for subscribers, and I will do an extra half hour and answer your questions exclusively, but I need one new person to subscribe. If one new person subscribes to our TikTok account, we will do an extra half hour of show, but if not, we're going to hold off on it, and we will end our show now. So I'll give it an extra minute or two. Here are all of our picks once again. We actually have hit 24,000 likes, so I will give out one last pick of the day to say thank you to all of you guys who have been joining us, following us, supporting us, hitting that like button. Let's go to our last favorite pick of the day. By the way, Jorge asks, our new show tomorrow, our show tomorrow, I believe, is at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So 11 a.m. is our new show tomorrow morning. We are live at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have one more pick to give out. Again, if you want me to stay live for an extra half hour today, we just need one subscriber on TikTok. If anyone subscribes on TikTok right now, we will stay for an extra half hour. If not, no big deal. We'll be back on at 11 a.m. tomorrow. But we're going to give out one more pick for today's show. This is going to be in the basketball section. And we're going to make it's a Celtics play. It is Jason Tatum over, and we are taking Jason Tatum over 9.5 rebounds. Jason Tatum over 9.5 rebounds. We're getting it at minus 160. Minus 160 for Jason Tatum. 9.5 over 9.5 rebounds. Here's our reasoning behind it. Jason Tatum has over 9.5 rebounds in 7 of his last 10 games and in 3 of his last 4 games overall, plus in 5 of his last 6 games. By the way, thank you so much, M. Baldwin 918. We have a subscriber. I will stay live for an extra half hour to answer more questions and give out more picks. So thank you so much. We got our subscriber. So that is going to end our public show. That's our show on Instagram and on YouTube. We're going to close up shop now. But I am staying live on TikTok. I'm going to come off, then I'll jump right back on. So if you're on the stream now, don't worry. Just go to our profile. We're going to jump off live. I'm going to jump right back on exclusively for subscribers. M. Baldwin 19, thank you for subscribing. We will be back on in just a minute, exclusively for subscribers, answering more questions, giving out more picks for another half hour. Guys, thank you so much for watching the show today. We will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wednesday, May 24th, we will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another huge show. All those bets. There's no NBA tomorrow, but a full slate of MLB. So we will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. on TikTok Live, YouTube, and Instagram Live. But for those who want to keep watching us, we will be live exclusively for subscribers for an additional half hour. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. Big shout out, Chris, N. Baldwin 918, Jorge, Tyler, IP Shade 45, Drew 7382, Tyler, Crazy Joe 6854. I cannot say thank you enough to all of those who support the show. Boss, Dante, Top Dog, all of you guys who watch, Caesar, so appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see